Welcome back to the channel. This week on the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener, we're going to tackle a little project that has been on my to-do list for some time, and it's to make a home for the Tayberry. But it's not just a new pot, it has to be a bit more than that. We're going to catch up with the seedlings on the heated propagators, etc., plus have a wee poke around the greenhouse. Come potter with me in the garden. My name is Dawn and I am the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener. Good afternoon, it's Saturday. Was planning to do a few other things outside today, but the easterly wind is just too cold for this old girl. Even with the hat on, the ears aren't enjoying it. So I've decided to retreat to the greenhouse and do some potting up. I've got a few things that need potting up. Some self-seeded stuff that I want to pot into little pots for my different projects. And also I need to do a wee bit of TLC to some of the other stuff that's in here. There's some stuff that needs to go from multi-sowing tray type things into individual trays. So there's a whole lot of things I need to do in here. So today I think will be the perfect day for just pottering around the greenhouse really. With that cold easterly, it will be perfect in here. So we'll go through a few things that I'm going to do today, bit by bit, and show you a bit of what I'm doing. Won't linger on any one thing and see how things go. This is the catnip that I potted up last week. It's not out of the big one that I took out when I put in the cranberry. It's the original ones I took out when I gave up after round one. Some of them are like that and they look really good. Some of them are more like that, so it's a wait and see, because not really anything, though I do see a wee shoot on that one, so fingers crossed that'll come away. Yeah, so I just need to find them a home now because they've been sitting there all weekend, and then slowly go through and shelf by shelf I think in here and see what needs doing. Just remember why I left them there. I need to label them, so I now have labels and I should be right and get things sorted. One of the many things that I had in the garden that had self-seeded in autumn last year was the alyssum. I think it's how you pronounce it. And at the time I wasn't sure how much of it was actually going to take. So I just did big scoops and popped them in trays like this. But now I've got quite a lot that has actually taken, and for one of my projects I want to be able to pop them in 6 cells, so I'm going to do that today. I've already got a couple in and I'm just going to keep pottering away at doing that. So what I have here are some dianthus. They're a bright pink one, absolutely gorgeous, and the plant is down at the very end of the long bed, just at the junction of where the bed was that I was working on the other week. And when I was tidying it up, I noted that there was a whole lot of self-seeded ones. Now I have spoken, sorry about the noise in the background, I have spoken a couple of times about some projects that I'm doing, so I don't refer to them in name because you know, it's just probably better I don't. 2 of these projects definitely would benefit from these, and so I'm going to pot these up and see how we go. Hopefully they'll be ready in about October when the project is due. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon at the moment. I got a bit distracted. I was doing the Elysium and then I got onto the Dianthus, and as I was waiting for things to soak and etc., I then wandered off and did some other stuff. I've done a whole lot of watering in the greenhouse of seedlings, and then of course one thing led to another, and I started off out in the area where I keep a lot of my plants that don't need to be in a greenhouse and are quite happy outside but are in pots, a bit like this. So this is one of the rhubarb I grew last year, and it's wintered over, and it's a variety called Red Cherry, so it just needs a bit of a tidy up. But I noticed that even though I've been watering them, because they're under the eaves of the house and they don't get the rain, unless it's a howling easterly rain, they've gone quite hard. So I'm just giving them a good soak. So I've been wandering in and out, putting them in here and giving them a soak. I've got quite a lot of rainwater harvested, not just only in the black barrels that I've got set up, but before I got the second black barrel I was draining that off and into milk bottles so that I had even more room to capture rain. So I've been using that steadily. So yeah, just pottering around the greenhouse and the shelves that have got these things, probably another day's worth of pottering, if, at my rate anyway. If someone was a lot busier and faster than I am, I'm sure that they get through it in half the time. So I'm just going to keep pottering now for another half an hour or so, and then I'm going to give up for the day. And then once I've done that, tomorrow I'll see what the weather's like, and we may get on with one of the projects that I was hoping to get on this week if the wind's not howling down the side alleys. If not, I might spend another day in here. We'll see. The weather's meant to be fairly good over this week, and actually I think they're even forecasting some warm nor'wests for Canterbury, so that'll be great, because that will actually mean I can get out in the alley area without getting frozen and sore ears, even with a hat. So catch you tomorrow. Good morning. Sorry, I'm slightly sunblind because I didn't want to point you into the sun itself. Right, it is Sunday the 24th of August, and yesterday I tried to come out and do one of my planned things for the week, but the easterly was just too cold, even with a hat on. I thought, yeah, nah. So I took off into the greenhouse and did some potting up instead. So today, this morning, it's around 10:45ish. I've decided to come out. There is a slight breeze. I'm hoping it's not going to get up. If it does, I'm going to have to abandon it. What I'm going to try and do today, and some people will laugh at me because I am no builder, I'm no landscaper, I'm nothing like that, and I'm winging it, is build a little area here at the end of this big rose bed at the back garden, just by the end of the house here. What I want to do is somehow, and I'm not sure how yet, put in a couple of sleepers to do retaining for some fairly chunky sized shingle, because what I want to do is put a pot here, a big 50-litre job, not a teeny weeny one, that is going to have a Tayberry in it. Now, the reason for the Tayberry, I had always envisaged a lemon here, but I never got around to doing this. This has been on a very, very long time get round to it, but with back issues and things like that, it never got done. I ended up planting my lemon over in the bed with the currants and things like that, so it sort of got put on hold. Now, I had a Tayberry given to me by the lovely Sowing from New Zealand Gardening on a Budget some time ago, and it's been in a pot and it was doing okay. It wasn't happy in the pot, but I hadn't found a home for it. But last summer I did find a home. I thought I did, and I popped it down the side alley in a big 30-litre pot, and it seemed quite happy there for a wee while. But then at the end of February, just started going like that and lost all its leaves, looked really sad and what have you, and I thought it died, and I couldn't work out why it had died. But anyway, did a bit of reading, and it's probably because it wasn't enough sun and things like that where it was. So I was about to get rid of it thinking it had died, but before I do anything like that, I do a wee sort of clip test to see if the wood's dead or not. And I did a clip test a few weeks back and thought, oh no, it's got green wood. And then I had another really good look, and it looked like it had some little buds forming. So I thought, okay, I need to find a better home for it this time. So I decided to resurrect the project for what was going to be the lemon and put the Tayberry here. Now I've got this really big 50-litre pot. I can't remember what was in it, but something, I think it might have been raspberries that are now in the big Bunnings things. So I need to make this area for the pot to sit on. Now I can't chisel this out flat, unfortunately, because there is just under the dirt a lip of the concrete foundation for the ring foundation for the house. So I thought, okay, I've got some offcuts of sleepers and things like that. I'll put them down, but it is on a bit of a slope, so I need to definitely make sure that the one on the slope side is secured, and should probably do it to the other one as well. Now I don't have any skills with woodwork tools and things like that, so drilling and what have you is a bit past me, really. I've tried and I've made a mess every time I've tried it. I've made some rudimentary planter boxes, but they were all nailed together, never screwed together or anything. So my plan is, and I'll bring you down in a minute to show you a bit more, I've got the 2 sleepers here. I've got some stakes, which I'd bought for another project that I had way more than I needed. And in theory, the stake should go on the inside and then be knocked down in and screwed into the sleepers. But these are hardwood sleepers, so that in itself is difficult, even if I pre-drilled these holes. So what I'm thinking of doing, and it'll look a bit shoddy to start with, but hopefully in time it will just sort of blend in, is that I'll put them on the outside and hold the sleeper in that way. And I might get away with one there, just so, I mean, they're heavy, and yeah, maybe that just will blend in. Underneath the stones, and I've got to go and get it out of the garage, I'm just going to use an opened up soil bag, the ones that I get my compost / soil stuff in. I've used them before as aka weed mat. I don't like weed mat as a rule, but I equally don't like having to bend over these days and pull weeds, and I don't like spraying, and I'm not very good with the old flamethrower or anything like that. So the easiest thing is prevention for me. Now this soil has never been good anyway. It's just been a weed patch for years. We've thrown multiple lots of grass seed down and it never really takes. So I'm just going to pop the weed mat down just and underneath these, just to prevent the weed coming up, and stake that. Put the stones in. Once I've got that all sorted and done, then it will be Operation Tayberry, which is to fill up the big 50-litre pot and then transfer the Tayberry from its current pot into the big pot. That in itself might be a mission, because the Tayberry has got thorns about that big. I'm pretty sure it is a Tayberry, because that was what the label said, even though it was a fairly faded label by the time I sort of looked at it. But yeah, once I've done all that, the Tayberry according to the instructions from Google and all that, needs support. Now, I can't really support it against the house because I don't want to put anything on the house, drill into the boards or anything. So what I'm going to do, hopefully, my theory is I've got these tomato cages type things, the click together ones that I got from the warehouse, and they've actually been really good because they're plastic coated and plastic coated metal stakes. They don't rust here because we're coastal. Anything that's metal rusts unless it's plastic coated. And I'm thinking of using 2 of those, but instead of putting them together in the traditional triangle like the tomatoes, what I'm going to do is just open it up into a circle. Might need more than 6 stakes, we'll see how I go, and use that as the framework because the pot's a good depth, so the stakes will be down a good depth. So that's my theory. Whether reality and theory meet are 2 different things, and especially with my shoddy building skills, but I'm going to have a go, and that's all you can do is have a go. So this is a closer look of the area that I'm working on. That's big wally wood thing is the end of the big large raised bed with roses, and the concrete blocks are the foundation of the house. So I'm just going to put those 2 sleepers that are currently resting permanently there, put some weed mat under all of that, and then fill it up with some large stones that I bought the other day. They're just big grey wacky, well, they're not huge, but they're 20 to 40 millimetre stones. And hopefully that will make a good base for the Tayberry. Fingers crossed. But yeah, one step at a time. Okay, part 1 done. Bo's come to check it out. Haven't you, Bo? Hey, you come to supervise and check out what I'm doing. So now the bit is for the stakes. They're fairly long. I have actually, this is an important factor, I have checked on the site map from when we built that there should be nothing under here. So like power wires or wastewater or anything, even though this is the, in theory, back side of the house, and the stuff comes from the street side. Because we're on a hill, a lot of our services actually go that way. So yeah, it's a bit strange, but you just need to make sure that you're not going to stick a stake through something important like a drain or a water pipe or electric conduit or anything like that, because that would be an expensive disaster. So I checked that yesterday. I dug out the site plans, and as long as they followed the site plans, I should be right. There is stuff like half a metre that way that goes down along the side alley and then out, but not at the corner of this house and out. This side of the house and this corner. So should be good. So I have my hammer, I have my stake. Here goes. We'll see how we go. It's not perfect by any push of the imagination, but it should hold it. I'm seriously thinking not putting the third peg in at the moment. I might have to do that tomorrow or another day, but we'll see how it goes. Once I've caught my breath, I'm going to put the stones in and then go from there. See, I've got the pot here, and one of the things that I'm going to use for support, but that won't go until after I've got the Tayberry in. And getting the Tayberry in, I think, might be a family event, because while it's not heavy or anything like that, I'm going to probably have to wrap the Tayberry itself in a big towel so it doesn't jab whoever's hanging on to it, and then it probably needs at least one, if not another person, just to try and get it out of the pot while we're doing it, but just for awkwardness sake. So, right, catch breath time, then on to the stones. Right, I've caught my breath, sort of. So in the wheelbarrow, I have got 2 bags of 20 to 40 millimetre grey stones. Oops. Yeah, no, I won't do that with the noise. Give me a sec. Right, I did the noisy bit off camera. So these are the stones that I've got, just grey wacky type stuff. And the reason I chose these instead of sort of a fine chip or something like that was because if the fine chip gets knocked onto the grass, it's just going to ping with the lawnmower. I'm hoping that these are big enough that they're not going to move or get flicked around. So, because the other thing is that if they do get onto the lawn, then they are going to cause even more damage than the little chippy stuff. So here's hoping. I'm doing it, but I'm just going to slowly pop these in by hand because I can't lift it. It's really heavy. I don't know how the guys at the garden centre do it. They obviously don't need to go to the gym to do any weightlifting, because they certainly do it every day, just hiffing these bags and the dirt and all that sort of stuff around. So yeah, I'm just going to do this quietly. I'll put the record on for a bit of speedy, and that's about it. Part done. It actually went a wee bit easier than I thought. I was able to slide the bags out onto the, well, half empty them by hand and then slide them out and tip the rest out, so that was quite good. So pot's in place. Just need to work out its perfect position with the metal rods so that they're not banging into the house in a wind or anything like that, and then just position the stones in the last place just to even it out. Seems to be holding without the extra stake, so we'll just see how that goes, because they weren't easy to get in. Probably my dreadful hammering technique. People will probably cringe when they see what I was doing, but it is what it is. So yeah, happy with that. I'm going to have a lunch break now. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and some crumpets with some gooseberry jam that I made on Monday from the gooseberries that I harvested over summer and froze. So it sounds a nice treat for after a dirty job. Right, catch you on the other side of lunch. Right, I'm back. It's now about 1:30. I've had lunch and I've watered some of the stuff down the side alley that doesn't get a lot of rain because it's in underneath the eaves. And I have also started doing some watering from the base for some of my pot plant type stuff that I've got down in a shelving unit down there. It's had plenty of top water, but every now and then It needs a bottom water, and over summer I usually do that once a week for all that stuff, because I've got quite a lot of cuttings and things like that that are down there, and the top watering doesn't quite do it over summer, so it needs a good bottom water once a week just to keep it going, and it helps with the root structures further down. But I'm not sure if you can see, because I can't see the camera from here. All I can see is the red dot that it's recording, and Lou's come to see me and give me a wee hand. Have you, love? Hey, you come to give me a hand. Right, we're going to work out what to do next. So family's going to come and give me a wee hand in a minute and bring some dirt down so I can fill this up, work out how deep I need to put the Tayberry, well, how much dirt I need to put in to where the Tayberry is going to be sitting so that it's level. And I've also got these. So, oh, come on, come out. So these were the triangular structures that I was talking about that I use for my tomatoes. I just grabbed a couple. I need to tidy them up a bit. And they just click and pop. So you can take the structure apart, which is great for storage. I just have a big basket of the little plastic stays, and then just put them back together. And then my idea, if it works, is to pop these around. I'm not sure how many I'll need with it. I don't think I'll need the whole 6. I might do. And make a structure with the plastic stays holding it up in between. So that's the idea. Whether it works in practice, these ones were just outside. I hadn't tidied them up from last summer. They've just been sitting in the corner there. These were my failed, I think these were my failed cucumbers and melons that I had on the deck. Just wasn't warm enough last year to have them up on the deck. I have in the past managed to get things to grow really well there, but last year was not one of those years. And when I was coming to tidy the deck, I only got as far as around the corner here, because I've decided that I'm not going to put too much on the deck this year. I'm going to put maybe a couple of tomatoes and things like that, but I won't put a melon or anything like that there, unless we suddenly get an amazingly hot summer. I'm not holding my breath, but fingers crossed. Yeah, so. But in the meantime, I'm going to tidy these up and wait for the family to turn up with the Tayberry and dirt for me. They're just in the middle of doing something, so I just need to be patient and wait. And that's one of the things about needing help in the garden when you can't do it yourself anymore. You just got to be patient and wait for help. And I'm not very good at that generally, so it's quite difficult. So I'm going to hang out in the sun and enjoy it while I wait. Okay, so we're on to the next stage. Got my dirt, got my Tayberry, and it still looks dead, but pretty sure that there's some buds on it, and when I clip the end it seemed to have, yeah, they look like buds still. I'd hate to be planting something that was really, really dead, but oh dear, that's what happens. This wheelbarrow is absolutely useless. I would not suggest anyone buy one of these. So I just checked again because I was slightly paranoid that it might be dead, but no, I just broke the end off and there's green wood there. So while it looks pretty old and knackered, I'm hoping that these buds are real and it's just not fooling me. We can only but try. So I will get this in. Probably won't get the actual plant in today. I'll get some dirt into the pot, and then I've arranged with the family to give me a hand tomorrow to actually wrestle the Tayberry itself out of the pot. I'll loosen it and do all that bits, and then, but in the meantime, I'll work out how deep I need to put this, because it's quite deep in that pot already. It's that pot only got about half full, just over half full, when I plonked the Tayberry in, because I didn't have a lot of spare compost at that time. So yeah, that's what I'll do now. Right, that's about at the depth I think I need it. So I'm going to leave that now and wait till tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to continue doing what I was doing, which was the flower bed here, just thinning out the 1,000,001 calendula and poppies, and I've been going backwards and forwards doing some deep watering as well. Right, it's Thursday and I'm finally getting back to doing the Tayberry. For one reason or another, I didn't get it done on Monday and Tuesday because I was feeling a bit sore and raw after what I had already done. Overdid it slightly, that's me. So I'm going to get the Tayberry in. I've got family help, so we won't be recording me hiffing the Tayberry into the pot, but I will show you the final product. We had half filled this big pot, we've got more soil there, and we've got the bits and pieces we need to build the frame around it. So when it's done with the family bit, I'll bring you back. Right, it's in. And it came out reasonably easily. I'd used the garden knife around the edges before, just to sort of like you would a cake tin, and it had a reasonable water, so it was fairly heavy, and it was only half the pot that had dirt in it because for some reason I don't think I had a lot of soil left when I put it in. So there is some news about it though. In a minute I'm going to top it up, but I've got to show you something first. Okay, so I'm doing this sort of handheld against the pot, so hopefully it's not too shaky for you. But can you see it? The green shoot. Yes, it is alive, and there are actually others. I'll just lift you up and show you. Hopefully that's focusing. I can't see the camera at the moment because of the sun. But yeah, really pleased. So now I'm just going to fill most of the pot up with some more soil, and then I will put the surrounds around it. So really pleased with that. Right, done. So built the wee stand, or whatever you like to call it, and finally got the Tayberry in. And we definitely know it is alive because it now has green shoots. Using these as a stand, I think they'll be okay. They seem fairly good. Might have to resort to maybe wooden stakes at some stage, but I would have thought metal just as good. And it seems to be okay with just the 4 in there. It's a 50-litre pot, so it's got plenty of room for its roots. Yeah, so really pleased with that. Now we just have to see how it takes to its new spot, because it certainly didn't like its spot last year. This is way more sunny. It gets it in the summer from late-ish morning all the way through to very, very early evening. So it will get hot, and I am a bit concerned about the black pot itself. I may have to wrap it with something like a hessian or something, I don't know, something to just make sure it doesn't get too hot. But finding 50-litre pots that aren't black, that don't cost an arm and a leg, is quite difficult. You can get the 30-litre ones in green and red, but they can be hard to find too. So yep, I am quite happy with that. So, job done. Good morning. It is Friday the 29th of August, and we're going to do our barefoot seedling watch. So what's been happening? First of all, I'm having a few problems with the heated seed mats. It might be a function that they're supposed to do, I don't know, but they do tend to turn off after a couple of days, so it might be a safety feature. So I just have to make sure I check each morning, and I have to make sure I check the temperature too, which I think is just something you should do anyway. And I do that 2 or 3 times a day when I'm just sort of going past it. The other day it got up to about 28 degrees on one of the pads, so I just moved the probe and gave it a wee clean up because it was a bit dirty and crusty around it from sitting in the dirt. And that seemed to sort it out. So it's just sort of being aware of these things and knowing that you do need to check regularly. Otherwise, they've been doing really well. But we'll go through the different areas as we have in the past few weeks and have a look, okay? So with the standard 20-degree units, I've had some really good germination. Yes, there are some empty looking trays at the moment. That's because I've been working on them during the week and I have potted on quite a bit and replanted quite a bit. This one here is my second flush of Sweet Genovese basil, so I'm really pleased with that. These are my onions, and my first lot of onions I just left in ambient temperature, but I didn't really get for this particular type of onion, which is the red spring onions. They didn't really germinate that well, so my second lot I've popped on here, and I am starting to get some stuff, which is great. This is the dianthus that's been sitting there for a few weeks now, and it's very slow to germinate, and it's not a great strike rate, but it will give me what I want, so that's fine. This is the Love in the Mist, or Nigella, and this is my own self-seed, and it's taken a wee while, and if I remember rightly, last year when I was just doing it at ambient temperature, it took forever, so just need to be patient with that one. What's this? The purple coneflower or echinacea. They are almost ready to pot on, so that would be good. And I think, yeah, I'm not having much luck with the old spinach. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I'll have to rethink that. I was just thinking yesterday that what I might do is just plant some more and shove it in the greenhouse and turn my back on it. And sometimes that works the best. Yeah. So still plenty to sow, plenty to pot on. It's a continuing process. So these are my thermostated heat mats, and a lot of the stuff that's been on there I have moved on and it's been potted up. So all my Thai basil, my cinnamon basil all got redone this week and potted up, and that's new stuff. And I put in a couple more peppers just of one type. I did a big order and it was just one or two that I needed a few more of, so that's then done. So that will mean that hopefully these pads will be reasonably ready for next week, which is the tomato sowing. These need to be potted on in the next few days, and I think, what are they? Yeah, that's Cosmos, and these ones are the zinnia on this side. The ones that I was really concerned about, so this is the Linearia, they're finally coming up, very, very fine seeds, so Snapdragon basically. And, no, sorry, not the Linearia, that's not Snapdragon, the Antirrhinum is the Snapdragon, silly me. And this is the seed that you just pop on top. Now, I'd had issues with the petunias not actually doing anything, but these are. So I think what I might do with the petunias is exactly what I've done here. It's just the tiny wee cells rather than a big, well, when I say big, one of the smaller flat dishes, and just pop them on there, and I might be able to just keep them moister. And I might actually put, these do come with a lid, but I haven't been using them and just keeping up with the watering, but I might put a lid on them and see if I can get the petunias and the lobelia to strike that way. Over here it's just more asparagus, because I'm doing a big thing of asparagus, and some coriander. I potted up a whole lot of coriander the other day, as I did dill was the other one. So these have been all replanted, and this is just asparagus again, because I want to get a good amount of asparagus. And the ones that are sitting over here aren't actually on the hot pad. It was just the only space that I could find. Some more brassicas that I just needed to do. I'm starting to run out of space, as you can see. So Always an issue at this time, and in the next week or two I will have to start transferring some of the stuff from some of the hot weather stuff that needs to stay inside for the next 3 or 4 weeks over to in front of the big picture window. Okay, so this is all my peppers, eggplants, etc. here, all sorted. They're doing really well. They've all been potted on by the couple that, I think it's about 3 or 4 that I'm just trying to catch up with. I got exactly what I needed number-wise, so I'm pretty happy. Over here, which is very hard to see, and I'll see if I can pick one up, is my dill. So very fine seed and plant, so I'm hoping that they'll take off. Yeah, and what else have I got over there? Yeah, just mainly eggplants. And this container, of course, I've got my cucumbers, which are doing well, and they're off the mats now because I just need the room. And underneath, which you can't see, but is a whole lot of lettuce stuff. So stuff that just needs to germinate at ambient temperature. So pretty pleased with that. So that's the state of play with the seeds inside. During the earlier part of the vlog, we have been in the greenhouse, so you'll have got to see what's going on there. Yeah, I'm generally happy with where I am, but like everyone at this time of year, I'm going, so much to plant, so much to do. But yeah, we'll get there. It's always the same every year, and you can only do what you can do. So if you miss something or don't get it in, yep, just have to do without. So I'm very happy with the way I'm going. I'm happy with my heated propagators, both the standard 20-degree one and the thermostated ones at the moment. So by the end of the season, we'll know more about how effective they've been over the year. And these seem to be all doing what they're supposed to do. So they've got about, we're just coming up to September, they've got about another 7 weeks to get to the point where I need to use them. So around Labour Day, I need to have them ready. So they're on track at the moment. Right, we'll catch up with you again next week with this and see where we're going. Hopefully there'll be a lot more going on. So it's time for a chat and a coffee. I've got my coffee, so let's do the chat. What have we done this week? Well, I did the Tayberry. It took me 2 days and 2 different goes at it. Not because it was difficult per se, it was just that the building bit took me a wee bit, and then unfortunately I ran out of time to get the actual Tayberry in on the Sunday. So after sort of tweaking things a bit in the wrong way, Monday and Tuesday were quieter days for me. Wednesday I couldn't do anything. So I got it in Thursday, and it's in. And the nice thing about the Thursday one was that we could actually see that it's got little green shoots. So great, that's really positive. I'm happy where it is. I'm happy with what I've done around its support for now. That may have to change. We'll see how it goes this year. But it hopefully will be happier where it is, because it certainly wasn't happy where it had been. So all good there. So I'm pleased with that. In between doing that and other things, I've done quite a lot of potting on of seedlings. I've also potted up quite a lot of self-seeded stuff from outside. Hung out in the greenhouse one day, got quite a bit done there. Then I've also replaced a lot of seeds that I have potted up. So things like dill and coriander, I've done extra sowings of them, and hollyhock seeds and a few other things. So I'm really trying to get into spending quite a lot of time sowing and potting up now. And that will be like that for the next 6, 8, 10 weeks as spring, summer starts to get together. I'd just like to thank everyone who has subscribed to date. It's awesome. But if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It's free, and that way you'll get notifications of when I pop out new videos. Now I'm going to finish my coffee and probably go out and do a bit of gardening. Lou's been in trying to get me to go outside. It is a nice day. Until next week's vlog, stay safe and well. And for now, from me, bye.